Once again, everybody, the GCC ISD SHAC meeting will now be called to order at 4:46 p.m. Welcome to the second SHAC general meeting of 2021-2022 school year. I am Sanar Edwards Jr. I go by Ski. I'm the SHAC co-chair. To my right, I'd like to introduce to my right and to my left, the other SHAC officers, Mrs. Amanda Kennington, our SHAC chair and facilitator, and to my left, Mrs. Michelle Nelson, the SHAC secretary. We follow a set of basic rules for conduct at our meetings, which allows everyone to be heard and make decisions without confusion. During SHAC meetings, we will call for motions that are in order. Members will obtain the floor properly. After standing and waiting to be called upon, introduce yourself, speak clearly and concisely, obey the rules of debate, and be courteous. Please review the meeting norms on the screen. We'll give you a few minutes or a few seconds to look over that, and then we'll continue. All right, so in honor of our School Board Appreciation Month, the SHAC would like to thank all school board members for serving GCC ISD. If there are any school board members here today, we ask that you please stand, introduce yourself, and be recognized. Okay. All right. If there are any invited guests, we would like you to stand, introduce yourself, and be recognized at this time. Any invited guests?
Hello? Okay. I'm Jose Saenz, registered dietitian, menu planner, and I've been working with the nutrition subcommittee. Took them on a tour of a couple of our schools, high school, junior high, and elementary school, so they can see what happens firsthand and everything that the kids have access to for lunch.
Hi, I'm Shanna Green. I'm with the Catch Global Foundation. I'm going to speak in just a little bit, but I wanted to say before then, thank you for being here. You are so important. Before I was working with Catch, I was in Amanda's position and I was leading SHAC committees for a district close to Austin, and we never had a group, you know, this large and this dedicated. So I just want to say thank you so much. I know it takes time away from your family and everything else you have going on in the evenings. So what you do matters, and thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
Yes, certainly. Thank you to our invited guests. So at this time, we would like to welcome SHAC members and call roll to establish a quorum, which I believe we're a few short. But members, when you hear your name, please respond with here or present. Cynthia Almanza. Adam Bailey. Here. Ariana Bankston. Here. Nelva Benavides. Here. Patrick Brown Sr. Here. Thursa Caldwell. Here. Lilia Camacho. Ruth Carrillo. Here. Samuel Chapa. Christy Clement. Here. Rosemary Kaufman. Ashley Cox. Here. Becky Dunn. Pat Dwyer. Jasmine Eaglin. Natalie Edwards. I'm here. Madison Gallagher. Stephen Griffin. Marilyn Heredia. Susanna Herrera Toledo, Sarah Hicks, Cara Ihigdebo, Brittany Janowski, Beverly Kegler, Amanda's here, Kim Kostick, Myra Laverne, Tamika Lee, Letitia LeGrare, all right, Lee Martinez, Stephanie Myers, Michelle's here, Patricia Pena, Casey Pena, Maria Ramirez, David Reed. Carrie Rickard. Laura Rupp. Rosalind Scott. Angela Cervantes. Laura Shostak. Jessica Sims. Diane Slack. Lillian Sockwell. Nicole Saunier. Priscilla Thornton. Joella Whitley. And Kevin Robleski. All right. All right, so we have 22 present. We need 25 for a quorum. So unfortunately, we will not be able to take any actions or vote or anything like that unless 3 more walk in. So thank y'all all for those of you who are present, and we'll continue on with our meeting. I'll pass it to Mrs. Kennington.
Today's meeting is a recorded public event and being reported as a matter of public record. Please do not use jargon or acronyms. Confidential information should not be discussed. For the sake of those listening to the recorded event, we ask that each member, staff, or presenter state their name each time prior to beginning their comments and speak clearly into the microphone and at a level appropriate so your voice and any comments can be heard. For each general meeting, members of the public may address the council by emailing written testimony to GCCISD at shac@gccisd.net no later than 5 p.m. 4 days prior to the scheduled meeting to ensure there's time on the agenda for public comment. There is time on the agenda today for officers or members to make announcements. GCCISD SHAC shares meeting information on the district website under Whole Child Initiatives. Minutes and agendas can be found on the meetings tab.
All right. So the GCCISD SHAC guiding principles were established in 2020 and the 2021 school year, and they are the collective vision of the appointed members. One of the first ones is we will grow healthy giants by dedicating our efforts to goals that will ensure that local community values are reflected in the decisions to meet the diverse needs of all students, and that every child is healthy, safe, engaged, supported, and challenged. The next one is we will work to support, educate, and communicate positive and engaging initiatives that provide support for the mental, social, and physical health and well-being of students, staff, and family in our community. The third one is we will perform our duties as an advisory council with the overarching charge to make recommendations that involve opportunities for all students in GCCISD to improve learning and quality of life. And the last is, to that end, we will work to support a healthy and safe school environment that fosters learning by using the whole school, whole community, whole child approach.
The SHAC would like to provide a few brief announcements and recognitions at this time. First, we would like to share that the GCCISD SHAC annual report has been added to the 2021-2022 District Strategic Plan as a measure of the district's commitment to strengthen community relationships and communications. This is a demonstration of the support the SHAC is gaining from district leadership. Ms. Nelson?
To force students to ensure they have a magical holiday as a part of the Angel Tree donations. We appreciate you supporting our giants.
Let's give those that donated a hand for the Angel Tree. Thank you. And as a surprise, we would also like to recognize the parent chair of our School Health Advisory Council, Mr. Ski Edwards, who is a husband and father of 5. 4 of his children are current GCCISD students, and 1 is a future giant just learning to walk. Our SHAC chair has recently been promoted to E9 of the U.S. Coast Guard. Only 1% of the service makes it to E9. What is an E9? Master Chief Petty Officer of the Coast Guard is the highest senior rank and acting voice and representative of sailors. His wife, Ms. Romney Edwards, says, Words can't describe the feelings I have, the burst of joy that's in my chest, the feeling of pride oozing from every pore, the tears I cry knowing he did this, no one else. I can't explain. And the kids say, we understood the assignment and made 100%. On behalf of the GCCISD SHAC, we would like to thank you for your service and leadership. Congratulations, Master Chief Ski Edwards, Jr.
Thank you. That was a big surprise. That was in there.
All right. I don't think we had anyone else come in, so we still are not at quorum, but I did want to bring up for the meeting minutes, if there are any corrections up for discussion, please email those to gccisd.net. There were a few changes, like with names that from the attendees from last time. So if there are changes that you see, please email those to us, and at our next meeting, we'll put this up for an action item up to vote, so that way we can approve those minutes.
You want me to go ahead and introduce this next one? Okay, good. All right. All right, so now we're going to get into our Catch Global Foundation presentation. But before that, I have something here for everybody. So the Catch program is an integral part of the PE and health education at Goose Creek CISD. All K through 8th grade GCCISD campuses and Point Alternative have access to the coordinated school health program with support from Be Well Baytown, an initiative of MD Anderson sponsored by ExxonMobil. Catch is the largest provider of whole child health and wellness programs and has the largest evidence base of impact in helping kids be healthy and ready to learn. Catch is by far the leader in ensuring that Texas districts comply with the coordinated school health mandate, with over 50% of K through 8 schools in the state using the program. Since Catch covers 100% of the K through 8 PE techs and 100% of 4 out of the 5 K through 8 health tech strands, all except injury and violence, many districts are evaluating Catch as their health and or PE textbook resource under Proclamation 2022. Today, we welcome Shanna Green, the Curriculum Implementation Manager for Catch Global Foundation. She assists school districts and after-school programs with the implementation of the Catch curriculum and philosophies. Shanna is here today to share her passion for Catch program and share information regarding the Coordinated School Health Program. At the conclusion of her presentation, SHAC members will have a few moments to provide feedback and ask any questions regarding the program. And now I'd like to turn it over to Mrs. Shanna Green.
Thank you so much. What a great intro. Thank you again for having me and for letting me be here. One thing he said was passion. And so real quick, I just want to tell you that I am very passionate about the Catch program. And that's because I was a teacher for many years. And during that time, I was implementing the program. So my first year in my inner city middle school, I started, my first job as a PE teacher, and I was going to change the world one child at a time. How do you think that first year went? Right out of college, right? I learned a lot, to say the least. I had a coach tell me, you're either going to sink or you're going to swim. And I felt like that first year I was just doggy paddling, just trying to keep my head above water. After that year, Catch, we were part of a Catch grant that was funded by the Michael and Susan Dell Foundation. And for 4 years, we had Catch in our schools. So we had the PE curriculum, the health curriculum, and then also the coordination kit, very similar to what Goose Creek has had the past several years. That time changed everything for me. All of a sudden, we were teaching with this health and happiness kind of focus in our campus. We saw a major change, not only in our students. All of a sudden, our students were being kids again. I feel like kids are having to grow up way too fast now, and they forget to just play and enjoy being kids. So all of a sudden, we started seeing 8th graders and 7th graders play in PE. They started becoming mentors to our younger students. The teachers, it was actually the students who taught the teachers. The teachers started to understand what this idea of go slow whoa was. And all of a sudden, every time they bring a soda, all the kids were saying, why are you drinking this whoa food? So the teachers started to adopt healthy habits. And we had teacher walking competitions and Biggest Loser competitions and all sorts of things that we did with our teachers. So all of a sudden, we started to see just a healthier, happier campus. That not only worked within the school, but it went home to the parents. Where I was, parents didn't come to the schools very often. They were, maybe they didn't have a great experience at school themselves, and so they were intimidated to come up to the campus for math and science night or any of those events. Well, what we learned was that if we had a catch math and science night, which meant that it was going to be, fresh fruit was going to be there. There's going to be some kind of healthy food, some kind of physical activity, that all of a sudden we just started seeing more and more parents come up to the campus. So I can't say enough how passionate I am about this program and about whole child work, because we know that it can transform our schools, it can transform our families, and just make such a big difference. And I've been talking a lot about behavior, but that we also saw changes in our academic success. So we started seeing kids do better, perform better. They were coming to school. We saw better attendance. And so it was just a really great experience to be a part of. I have to say, too, since I just mentioned whole child, I've often wondered, passing by Goose Creek, if you really lived out this statement of whole child work. And being here and hearing all the great things that you're doing, I'm just really inspired by the work that you're doing and really making that statement. And I work with schools all over the United States, and it's pretty amazing to put that stamp on your district and say, hey, we're here for the whole child. It makes a big difference. So I love what you guys are doing here. All right, so this part right here is just a real, quick snapshot of what Catch is. You've been implementing the program for a while, so I'm going to go over all of it, but I'm going to go kind of quickly. And then we're going to really look at the website and what we have to offer as far as the curriculum, because we've seen some advancements in the last couple of months. So we know that Catch is one of the largest coordinated school health programs in Texas. It is TEA approved. It's widely adopted. Over 50% of the schools use Catch. What sets us apart, it's rigorously researched and university backed. So there's lots of peer-reviewed articles that you can go back and see. Catch has been around for over 30 years. And so all of that research has been done through multiple states, large groups. The grant that I was a part of was for the middle school curriculum. And so just that alone was a 6-year grant over 30 schools in several different districts. So there's a lot of effort put into the research that goes into Catch. It's also a nonprofit. So that's kind of confusing to people sometimes, because it's like, well, how is it a nonprofit when we're paying for it? So Catch can be like a purchased curriculum, but it's a nonprofit, Catch Global Foundation, because what we do is we take the money that's invested into the program, and then we go and invest in communities that maybe couldn't afford that curriculum. So the money that goes into it, the for-profit side, fuels our nonprofit work that we do. And then it also, we'll kind of move on. So it's Catch's proven formula for effective health education. We know that knowledge does not always equal behavior change. And so there's a couple of pieces that go into play here to really affect that behavior change. The first one is knowledge. So we have to have that basic foundation of knowledge. But what else do we need? Our students need some sort of skill building along with our teachers. So there's some skill building there. And then there's environmental support. So Catch, the C in Catch stands for coordinated. And so we're really big on having that environmental support in place so that our students and our teachers can thrive. And then the next one is healthy decision making. So when all of these three things work together for our students, that's when they start making these healthy changes and we start seeing behavior change. Let me give you a quick example about this, okay? I want you to imagine that you are going out to eat with your friends. And whenever you go out to eat with this group of friends, they do it really big. They get big appetizers, big meal. It's not always the healthiest choices. And then they maybe have some drinks with that meal, okay? Now imagine you're going to eat there. What are you going to order to eat? Same thing. You're going to indulge maybe a little bit. Now imagine that you're going to eat with a friend who's coming right off the running trail. They're training for their next triathlon. You're going to sit down, you're going to eat with that person. What are you going to choose to eat? Right? You might notice that what you choose changes just a little bit based on the environment. This is what Catch is founded on. Okay, we can know the healthy foods to eat. We can have the knowledge piece, but what we're really hoping to see is behavior change in our students. So not only do we just give the knowledge, but we have the knowledge, the skill building, scaffolding, so students learn and build on that knowledge, and then we have that environmental piece. So when all of those things work together, then that's when we start seeing those healthy changes. I like that analogy way better than the slide. So here are our TEKS aligned programs. We have our nutrition and health education, our quality PE program, and then our mental health and SEL. And this is what we're going to take a look at in just a moment. We also have some free programs as well. So we have Catch My Breath, which is K through 8, that's substance misuse. We have Catch Healthy Smiles, which is brand new. It's our oral health program. And then we have Sun Safety. Those are free because we've had different sponsors sponsor them. So the substance misuse was CVS. Oral health is Delta Dental. And then our Sun Safety is with, they're with BeWell. Yes, MD Anderson. Okay, so we are working in partnership with lots of great organizations when we're developing these curriculums. All right. And so it's just a truly coordinated program. It's a consistent approach across all the programs that we have, so we make sure that we have some consistency there. Focus on student empowerment and intrinsic decision making. Because again, the whole program is founded on our students making these positive decisions. And so we're really big on student empowerment, especially in our older grades. There's also a common language of catch across all programming. So if you're using our coordination in your schools, then the health curriculum, the PE curriculum, all of that is going to match so that it just helps us to really build these healthy environments. There's also SEL anchor activities and prompts. So our SEL program is fairly new. So if you've been using the program for a while, then you might not be familiar with that. We have a true standalone SEL program called SEL Journeys, which we'll take a look at. It's all based around multicultural dance, and it's really fun and enjoyable. But it also communicates with the rest of the Catch curriculum now. And so we have these SEL anchors or prompts that are built into all of our different programs. There's an integration of physical activity into all of our health lessons, family components, and resources. So tons of resources for you to use to engage your community. There's also an inclusion guide for kids of all abilities. So we recently partnered with NICPAD and Special Olympics to create some trainings for adapted PE, whether you're adapting for students with a physical disability. And then also we have a video series for adapting things for students who have intellectual disabilities. And so those resources are absolutely free to your teachers. Then we have the campus coordination kit, which we'll take a look at, whole child leadership training, and a guided journey, which is something that you have been on. Goose Creek has been on with us for a little while. So about our platform, you're going to access everything through the internet. It's all ready to go. Single sign-on will be new and available this year. It's also very easy to navigate, and we're working to make it even easier. So those of you that have been working with it and you're like, it's not that easy, I feel like there's a couple of things that we're improving to make it easier. There's also PowerPoint slides with teacher scripts for all of our lessons. So a big part of that is just trying to make things as simple as possible for our teachers, because we know how, just stretched thin they are, how many responsibilities that they have. And so we want to make sure that we're providing all of the resources for them. There are also video lessons for blended learning. So there's video, just push and play nutrition lessons for our teachers to use. There's also teacher and campus usage reporting. So at the district level, if they're interested to see, what lessons are being taught, then we can provide that reporting for them. All of this is secure and follows compliance. This right here shows all of the different strands that we cover. And I know it's not included right here, but we're even going to take on that whole safety strand as well. So you'll see that we will, by the beginning of next school year, cover all of the health and PE standards. And then that right there goes over the pricing. And then we're going to take a look at the curriculum as a whole, all the different pieces. Do you guys have any questions? All right, let's go ahead and dive in, and then maybe we'll see if there's questions from there. Okay, so right now I am in our nutrition lessons, and I won't spend too much time actually going through lessons, but I just want you to see what's available here. Right here on the left-hand bar, that's how we kind of navigate through everything. All of our lessons, again, are research-based. They all, again, have the PowerPoints that we mentioned. In the PowerPoints, there's always going to be an activity break built in, and there's always some sort of engaged learning. So it's not just to sit and get for your students. There's going to be group work, those types of things. Anything that your teachers need will be hyperlinked within the lesson right here. Okay. Now, right now, all of these lessons are all based on nutrition, but what we're moving to is to have all of the different TEKS and health standards right there, easy to navigate. So if you're that second grade teacher, you're going to second grade and you're going to see all the lessons that are grade appropriate and cover your standards right there within the health lessons. And it's not wanting to pull up our slides. There's also some audio, so some of the stories, if you have the option to read those stories, or you can play them. Anything that has a PowerPoint or slide, you can open those up in Google Slides, download them, make them your own, so that when you're teaching your students, it's ready to go. Like I said too, all of these slides have activity breaks in them, so you have the choice of either breaking things up and doing small group work, or you can do it as a large group and have that activity break written right in there. Okay. A lot of these use that catch language of go, slow, and whoa, so you're going to see that theme running throughout the curriculum. All right, so that is nutrition. Now let's take a look at PE. Okay, so this is our PE curriculum right here. One thing I love about Catch PE is that it's very foundational. It's a lot of best practices. It builds upon itself really well. And so there's just like this tried and true, if you're teaching Catch PE, these are good lessons to be taught. As a matter of fact, when we were at TAPR this last year, a lot of districts were showing their favorite games, their favorite activities. And a lot of the games that they were showing ended up being Catch. And what I love about that is that most of them probably had no idea that these were Catch games, because Catch has been around for so long that it's just been part of what you learn in your college classes, what you do. It's just that foundation. Now, that being said, if you have been teaching, if any of you are PE teachers, after a while, you want the new. You want things to change up a little bit. And so I think that right now is coming at a very timely, it's a great moment in time, because we're keeping that foundation, but we're adding to it. So right now we've added things to cover all the standards, and then I'll let you know kind of where we're going. One thing we wanted to make very clear is our alignments. So before, you had to kind of go find how Catch aligns to everything, and now it is right here within your bundle. So we are just looking at 3rd through 5th grade, and you can see right here at the top, the first thing you'll see are those national and state alignments. The one that's most interesting for me, a lot of those are just what is our lesson and how does it align, or where does it align? But this right here is actually the state standards, the strands, and then which activities you could teach to actually reach that strand. So it's just a very quick way to make sure that you're covering everything. We also have our scope and sequence here. Catch originally created as a resource, and that's still, we're holding true to that we want to be a resource because we want to empower our teachers to be able to choose how they want to teach things. And so that's why we call ourselves a resource. But times are changing, and we're getting more towards that curriculum focus and really wanting to see how things build upon themselves, making sure that we're aligned nationally and through the state. And so we do have scope and sequences in place. So if you want to follow those things, then you can. There's also some special education resources here. These things are based off a universal design. So being able to communicate with all of your students where not only are you meeting your needs of your special education students, but also the students that are just in your classroom. So what we have here are just some simple things, stop and go visual aids. We have a first and then section. That's where you're putting, pictures up here for your child. Hey, first we're going to do this, then we're going to do this. And those simple things can really help our students in class. There's also sample unit plans and lessons. So again, we give the teachers are empowered to create their lessons however they want to, but we do have samples in place where teachers can put together their lessons. All of this is hyperlinked and ready to go. Okay. All of this builds on itself. So all the curriculum that you see right down the side, it all builds on itself throughout the year. Some new things that we have added are teaching slides. So if you're, teaching in the gym and you want to project up keywords, if you want to print out word walls, any of those things, you're able to do that. So now in our Go Slow Whoa activities, we have different PowerPoints that the teacher could put up. We also have those in our units. So let's take a look at basketball. And you might be thinking too, well, we don't want our kids to sit and watch PowerPoints in the gym. It's not created for that. What it's created for is, let's say we're going over the proper attire and safety, all of these things, make sure, one, you're covering all of the teaks, but then two, if we want to go over dribbling, we could have one slide up and it's just that visual aid for our students. All of these pictures will be replaced with GIFs, and so there'll be GIFs of different students performing these activities so that your students have those as a visual. There's also keywords, so any type of keywords where these can either be projected to help with students, or they can be printed and created word walls, different things like that for your English language learners, your SPED students, or just making sure that we all have the right vocabulary. There's also assessments that are now created. So in your assessments, we have what's called performance rubrics. That right there is where you can print. All of these are fillable, so you can actually type in your students' names. All of these become check boxes, and you can check how your students are doing. So that's one of our rubrics. We have several because we know that, everybody teaches differently. So making sure that students can, or teachers have different assessments that they would want to use. This right here is a self-check, so the students actually check how they feel that they're doing, or it can be done with a partner. So it has all the cues and then all the checks that they would want to do. We even have basketball, or whatever the lesson is that you're working on, we have unit test. So if you wanted to give unit test in your class, and then for the schools that are getting really into technology, then they can do it through Google Forms. So your students would be able to answer questions that way. Okay. All right. So that is kind of where we are with PE now. The things that we're continuing to develop are more of the slides, having GIFs, so more student-facing content. Right now, a lot of the things that we have are teacher-facing to prepare you to teach the class, so a little bit more focused on student-facing. We also have different sections coming, so new games and activities will be added to the curriculum. Okay. All right. Now, all of this has to fit together, right? We talked about the see and catch and that coordination piece, and so that's using our coordination kit to help bring all this together. We have the knowledge base, we have the lessons in nutrition, we have the lessons in PE, and then the coordination kit pulls in the entire school. If you've used our coordination kit before, it has changed quite a bit this last year. Right here, we have some different tools for you. Also, this comes with all of the curriculum. So because we believe so much in the coordination aspect, it's no longer a separate piece. It just becomes part of the curriculum that you choose. So in order to really get whole child work off the ground, we wanted to make sure that we had some sort of checklist that teachers could use to kind of run their whole child work. So this right here is your full checklist for the year. I say the year because what we've done is we've divided the school year into 4 themes. So at the beginning of the year, you're going to see catch and hear catch. That means teachers are role modeling the program. The students are hearing, they're getting that baseline knowledge. Then the second semester, do catch is when they start engaging with the program. They have ownership in it. And then engage with catch is when we start engaging with the community. We have family fun nights, all of those great things that I know you guys do really well here. So that being said, there's tons of resources here that I want to show you that weren't here before. Right here, all the resources, posters, faculty presentations, videos to show your faculty. Couple of things that are neat too, this new generated email. So instead of you typing out the work like, hey, we're going to do this event on this month, if you put your email into this generator, it emails you this really pretty like designed email that has all of the initiatives that are happening. The reason why we wanted to email it to you instead of it being a PDF or something you forward is because then you can edit it. You can add your school logo. You can change things up. So you have that available. Also, you can see what other schools are doing, just so you know what it looks like when it's implemented. Every one of the themes has a goal. It's got 2 goals usually. It's got like the healthy role model, and then it has that SEL focus. So I mentioned SEL earlier today. Each theme has its own SEL focus, and it also has an SEL tool. Okay. So real quick, I know I'm running out of time. I want to show you the interactive checklist that we've created. So on this checklist, you can download it onto Google Drive, and it becomes a checklist for the teachers. They can identify like what they need to do. They have a spot for where, who can do that work with them, who's going to take the lead, and then dates. You notice down here at the bottom, it's got the full year all lined out for you. It's got the see, hear, do, catch all the way across. So you use the same checklist throughout. Now, if you're a checklist person, this might make you excited. But if you're not a checklist person, then this is very overwhelming. So you can delete things. Okay. That's the beauty of it. Everything is there and everything is hyperlinked. So if you just wanted to run from the checklist, you could, but you can also delete things and make it your own. That's one thing I love about this program. There's also spots where you can put what other programs you have going on. We know that Catch is not the only initiative that you are running. We know you wear many, many hats. So there's places for you to really make this your own and add things in there. So every theme has something called the All-In Challenge. At the beginning of the year, when our teachers are role models, the All-In Challenge is a poster where they're filling out this sign and they're putting it up in their classroom. All of the All-In Challenges are meant to be really easy. So it's something that's very simple that your teachers can do quickly, get on their wall, and then they're done for that full area or full time. The reason why we want to get all of our teachers involved in this like all-in challenge is because it really amplifies our voice. And that part is important. So there's going to be an all-in challenge, and then there's an SEL goal for each one. If the other one I just showed you with the colorful cape and everything doesn't work, then you can use this one. And in this one, your teachers can type in, who they are, and then they're identifying how they're a Catch MVP. A Catch MVP is someone that moves and stays active, values healthy eating, and practices healthy habits. Okay? And I'm just looking through this one section, but just know that all 4 have a different all-in challenge. Okay? Then once you master your all-in challenges, you have an option of doing some of these, what we call coordination extensions. Okay. So these coordination extensions are things that you can build on your program every year as you're sustaining the program. You can start including social emotional awareness, staff wellness, all of that. And it's built out to give you just lots of different ideas, because we know that every school that's implementing wellness and whole child work is going to look different at every single campus. So there's just lots of different ideas for you to pick from. All right. Are there any questions about any of this? I do want to show you this one SEL link. So just like there's the All-In Challenge, if you want to do the SEL anchor activity as well, there's going to be an SEL activity. At the very beginning of the year, one of the ones we encourage you to do is a self-check, checking in with your students. There's lots of different ways that you can do that. You can put emojis in your classroom and have them touch how they're feeling as they're walking in the door. This one is something that can be done with your students, and it actually keeps track of them. So this is like a daily check-in. You would put your name of your students right here in this list, and then what they would do from the phone or any kind of tablet is they would kind of tell you how they're feeling. How's their mind that day? How's their heart and their body? And it kind of explains what that is. The nice thing about this is if you wanted to just kind of track them and see how they're doing over time, it's going to save all of their results. And so you've got an Excel spreadsheet where if you're worried about somebody, you can go and check and kind of see how they're doing. So there's always going to be that interactive SEL idea along with whatever your goal is for that theme. And right now in this third one, the Do Catch, it's actually a badge contest. So there's all of these cute little badges that your students can earn. And then they earn them and then they can pass them on. So it's like a pass the tag type of thing. All right. Okay, there's only one other thing I want to show you, and it's going to be very brief. Yeah, and here's the little tags. So they can start, collecting them. It's where the teachers get printed cards and then they pass out to the students when they catch them using kind words, eating healthy fruit, all of that kind of stuff. Okay. All right, the last one is going to be our SEL journeys. And the reason I want to show you this is because it is very different than anything that we've done with Catch before. SEL Journeys is our new SEL program that's based off of multicultural dance and just knowledge of the world around us. So the idea behind this is that your students are going to take a trip. And so you take them on their passport and they choose an activity, they choose a location, and they are going to learn about that area. And then they're also going to learn about a dance that we would all do together. The reason that that I do want to show you this, that's important, is because, there we go, Dominican Republic. You choose your destination, then you choose one of the 5 castle competencies, and then you go. So there's lots of different combinations and ways that you can do this. And like I said, we won't go through the whole thing. But what I wanted you to see is that, as Catch is changing, we're going to be more interactive and things like this too. So this leads the class through a dance. And then at the end, it has that SEL tie-in where you realize, hey, you weren't just learning that dance. You were really learning to work together, your relationship skills, all of those kind of things. This will eventually be part of the PE program where we start doing like international games and travel and having different experiences like this. So kind of the future. All right. Do you have any questions?
I know many are sitting here and going, okay, why are we listening to this presentation? And it speaks, the whole time she was talking, I was thinking about different groups, our subcommittees, and how it speaks to our nutrition area, our SEL, even the family engagement and how like the community-wide. So it speaks to all of our different subcommittees in some way. And because of the recent proclamation 2022 and the health textbook adoptions, many of you are on that textbook committee. We do have PE teachers here today. We have 2 campuses that actually here in our district use the SEL Journeys program. So it speaks to many of us here today. But our role as a SHAC is to define the number of hours of health education that our students are to receive. And unless we know what all goes into the curriculum and even for the classroom teachers, for the classroom teachers that are here as well, you see that there's a lot that's going into this. Well, from one side, you can say the physical activity. We want to make sure that our kids are getting the physical activity in PE, but a majority of the time here in our district, the PE teachers are the ones who are also teaching the health. And so if we can somewhat utilize this curriculum and continue to utilize this curriculum where we're all speaking that common language, where we're all reinforcing those behaviors, then that can breed success in the long run for the behaviors that we all want to see. So Just something for you to think about. Definitely ask questions. Now is a great time to ask questions if you have specific ones about this. And then just keep this in mind, because as we move forward with our adoption of the curriculum and as we talk about the number of hours for health education and where we would like to see that, where we would recommend that to be embedded in, whether that's PE or the classroom or where, you'll have an idea of what all is incorporated in about the Catch curriculum program. So questions? Let me pass out the mic too.
Is there a sample website that we can go to and play around with this a little bit? And just saying, like, as a former classroom teacher, counselor, I love that whole check-in part. I'm like, and to be able to see the whole, like, okay, what's going on with the class today? It's not just that it's a full moon. Is there, I love that part. But is there a sample website that we can check out?
Yes.
All of our kinder through 8th grade campuses, including Point Alternative, have a subscription to the Catch program. So if there are any teachers that, if you go to access Catch, catch.org, if you just have to create a login and then you're able to sign in and see, have access. If you need help with that, just email me, Amanda Kennington, and I'll make sure that you get access so you can explore, because you definitely do have that access to the subscription.
And you can have multiple users at each campus. So the curriculum is attached to the campus. As many people as you want can use that curriculum. And then if you have a hard time navigating it, because one of the things that's kind of difficult is that there is so much. So if you do have trouble navigating it, you can email me at shanna@catch.org, and I'm happy to point out certain things that you're interested in and where to find that.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Slack. Sorry. State your name. Sorry.
Hi, Patrick Brown at Horace Mann Jr. One of the creative ways I looked at doing it, I teach investigating careers. So the career that I'm going to do and put my kids doing the research on it for 2 weeks with investigating careers is going to be with nutrition.
Nice.
So I've dug into it. I'm digging into it more. So I'm going to have the kids doing it 2 weeks. And for the function, and I forget that date, I think it's in March. Right. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have some fraternity members with the alumni to go ahead and come out Phi Beta Sigma to participate with that, with Horace Mann, and I guess a tent will do some things that'll, how would I say, whatever's necessary. Yeah, engagement.
Okay, wonderful. We have so in the Engage with Catch, there's some new resources there. So there's a family fun night, and there's ideas on how to do a full event or how to just have a booth, and so there's lots of different ideas there. So that's wonderful. It's great that you're doing that. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Mrs. Green. That was an incredible presentation. So now we will head into our SHAC subcommittee updates, information, and celebrations. So starting off, let's see. All right, so our SHAC subcommittee serve as the SHAC's decision-making process. They are the focal point of the SHAC activity. Broad community participation is sought for committees. They gather information, analyze available data, make recommendations to the SHAC, and report to the SHAC. The SHAC may develop these recommendations into action items for SHAC vote. The district or parent chairs will share a summary of new progress in their component area, continue from our last meeting date, and lead the discussion and any action items for SHAC's consideration. We'll begin with the Health, Education, PE, and Physical Activity Committee, followed by Nutrition Services, then Health Services and Family Community Involvement, and finish with Mental Health Services, Employee Health and Wellness updates as well. So please state your name prior to your update, any action items for consideration, and be mindful to complete your update within the approximate 4-minute time frame.
All right, my name's Tim Bailey. I work here in the district at Alamo Elementary. I'm a PE teacher and I am the catch champion on my campus. So just to put a little plug in, that is such an awesome program. So easy. I mean, it's incredible because it's like they thought of everything, literally. And it's, as the catch champion, it is so easy to implement every part of it. It's an amazing program. Good job, you guys. Okay, so I'm going to be actually speaking in behalf of Mr. Robleski. This is Health, Education, PE, and Physical Activity Subcommittee. Under Proclamation 2022, Health and PE Textbook Adoption Instructional Materials eligible for adoption by the State Board of Education. The district recruited community members, including SHAC members and staff, to evaluate the new health PE textbooks under consideration for adoption. Only one book, digital material, met 100% TEKS for K through 5 PE and health, one meeting 100% TEKS for 6th through 8th PE, and one for 6th health, and one for 7th through 8th health, and one for 9th through 12th health. The textbook committee met on December 5th and requested to submit comments for consideration by Friday, January 14th. Presentations and digital documents were shared, as well as the opportunity for public viewing of the materials at the administration building from January 10th through the 14th. And just as a side note, I got to view for elementary, and fantastic. I mean, great resource. Digitize, which is just so welcome when you're when you're a teacher. I mean, it just makes everything very simple. Last thing I have to say on here is for the Health, Education, and PE Physical Activity Subcommittee, anyone currently serving or who wants to serve on the Health, Education, and Physical Committee are requested to stay after the SHAC meeting today and to see me right here at this table to help me schedule our next subcommittee meeting. That's it. Yep.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Bailey.
Sure.
Nutrition services.
I have just a few more. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm going to go through, thank you. I'm going to go through Mr. Martinez's updates. He's our athletic director, not able to be here tonight, so he had some updates that he would like me to share. And then I have some updates for the coordinated school health side of things, and then we'll move on. So for Mr. Martinez, work will begin late spring to update the PE scope and sequence based on the changes that are happening and the new adoptions and the new resources that we're getting in. So he just wanted to make sure that you all knew that after those PE scope and sequence were developed this year, they will be revised this spring, starting in the spring and into the summer. He also wanted me to share that the Physical Activity Subcommittee has met. We did meet on October the 26th. We discussed recommendations to strengthen the language in the current wellness policy, and the members agreed to add some language that I want to share with you today. One of those is that the district will develop comprehensive, this is the new language, comprehensive school physical activity programs, and shall encourage students to participate in appropriate before school and after school programs that address family and community engagement in physical activity and provide a wide variety of offerings. This is interesting after we've just had this conversation. So it's just a way that we can strengthen the language that's currently in the wellness policy. Members of the committee agreed that strategies should be developed and piloted at elementary campuses ahead of implementing goals for withholding of physical activity as a punishment for inappropriate behavior or ensuring recess is required on all school days. So what that basically means is that there were some recommendations to change the policy to strengthen it, but at this time, as a committee, we felt like those need to be piloted first through the campuses to make sure and ensure that we are providing strategies or making recommendations going forward that are going to be equitable and that they are going to be efficient. The District Wellness Committee will be presenting this month at the Executive Council meeting for feedback on those wellness policy recommendations. So many of you are asking what are the next steps, like the Nutrition Subcommittee met, the Physical Activity Subcommittee met, the Employee Wellness Subcommittee met. We made all those recommendations. Now what? It's not quite ready to go to the board. Like we said, we have some piloting that we'd like to do, but the Executive Council has granted us a meeting coming up very soon, next week actually, for us to make those recommendations. So just so you know that it has moved, or it is moving forward. As the coordinated school health in the district, I oversee the healthy community schools at those campuses, and we asked for data from all of those campuses, and I wanted to share some of the data. Can you hear me? Is it okay? Sorry, I was like wrong. But I wanted to share some of the data that we share out with our funders for the program, because it is a testament to the CATCH program itself. This is just Q1, so September to November reporting. So just so you have some numbers here, we ask all the staff, kinder through 8th grade, to complete these implementation surveys. And then we, take that information and see how well we're implementing the program. We do have a new middle school, EF Green. We did go to the campus. We talked about CATCH, trained 62 staff members. 6 campuses the first quarter hosted CATCH nutrition and physical activity events. 3 were in-person events. We had 1 drive-through event and 2 were virtual. So they're just making it work at their campus however they can to host those engaging activities. 61% of our K through 5th grade teachers reported teaching 2 or more nutrition lessons during the first grading period. So as Ms. Green showed you the number of lessons, they were required or asked to implement or teach 2 lessons per grading period. And so we had 61% of K through 5 teachers report that they did teach 2 or more. And that reflects in over 12,075 K through 8th grade students that received nutrition education lessons just during Q1. And then the kinder through 8th grade PE teachers, we separated their answers, and they reported teaching at least 1 or more. Many of them do a CATCH activity, physical activity lesson every week. But we just asked if they reported at least 1 physical activity lesson, and several of them did, and that reached 13,293 of our students. And then our champions, such as Mr. Bailey at his campus, 96% of our champions reported that the campus wellness teams, K through 8 campuses, are meeting at least once per 9 weeks. They meet, they decide, how it's going to work best for their campus. Are the classroom teachers teaching the lessons, or the physical activity teachers, or is the PE teacher teaching one and the classroom teacher teaching the other of the 2? But they meet. There's a picture of the campus wellness team at Alamo there at the bottom. But they meet and they make those decisions for their campus, and we just help to coordinate at those meetings. And then we also implemented a SPAN survey. We had a talk with the Nutrition Services about this. It's a physical activity and nutrition survey that we sent to 4th and 5th grade students, and we had about 2,860 students respond, and this is directly related to the behavior change that we've been talking about. So CATCH Global Foundation is actually helping us with this survey. So we initially have the survey go out at the beginning of the school year, and my understanding is we'll do this again at the end of the school year and see what, if their behavior change has occurred, and they'll come up with this great report that we'll share back with all of you. So I think, we're doing pretty well with coordinated approach to child health. Definitely can't advocate enough for it. So that's all my updates. Thank you.
Yeah, nutrition services, Mrs. Natalie Edwards or David Reed. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. Would you like to speak?
I'll give you the floor, and then if I don't think I'll even have to add anything.
You sure?
We'll see. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, part of what the Nutrition Services Subcommittee did in the last couple of months is that the actual committee members joined Jose Sines, our menu planner, registered dietitian, and other members of my team at the schools to actually watch meal service. So they were able to see meal service at Sterling High School, Baytown Junior, and Travis Elementary, so that when our committee is making recommendations, they are very familiar with the environment that the students are eating in. They're able to see the foods that they're eating, the choices that they have, and some of the promotions that we're trying to do, and see the staff members and how the staff members are interacting with the students, and even some of the challenges that we could have. So they mainly saw lunch service. They didn't see breakfast service. In some cases, it's similar. Some's a little different. But that will help our committee members to help with the recommendations that we're wanting to make. And a lot of it is around making sure that students do have enough time to eat their meal, and that the cafeteria teams are more informed about healthy eating and interacting with the students and encouraging them to try new things. And they were also able to eat at the school so that they could actually taste what the students are getting.
David Reed. There we go. Okay. So first thing is, I don't know how we happen to have all of us get on the same committee that were committed, and we've done two different things, and we've all been at the meetings, and it's neat to be a part of a group of very committed people. And then Jose helped by just making himself available and, being a great host and just kind of walking us through the process and answering all of our kind of introductory silly questions. And then as we dug in deeper, saying, well, let me find out. Let me find the answer to that. And just understanding that we want to understand the hard work of feeding, I don't even know how many thousand people a day, breakfast and lunch, and all the complexity there, but then also be sort of demanding and say, well, these things should happen, and why isn't this happening? And just, the poise and the welcome that we felt, I think was fantastic. So I think later on we're going to have some really good recommendations because it was good time, and it was great to be able to experience that with the kids. So yeah, we learned a lot. It was fun.
And we really appreciate you all taking the time to come out and interact with Jose and really see that the kid, more than, I don't know what kids say when they get home about what happens in the cafeteria, what they get, or what the cafeteria lady did or said. We actually get to see what really happens in the school. And I think it would definitely help our committee make very informed recommendations that can be actually accomplished, like things that we can do because you've seen what challenges they have and what they can do.
Okay, so we did get an email from Ms. Pena. I was hoping that she would be able to come here tonight to give us kind of an update on procedures and things that are going on. And the message that we have is that, okay, she had an emergency there. So hopefully this next time that she'll be able to give us some. And Ms. Pena is our health services coordinator. Some of the just highlights that I want to point out are tobacco control, e-cigarette use. That was highlighted during Red Ribbon Week, which was before our last meeting, but we did have over 1,700 junior and high school students enroll in a program called Aspire. It's a smoking prevention interactive experience, like a free online education resource from the University of Texas MD Anderson Cancer Center. It delivers tobacco prevention education to teens. We've noticed this year that the numbers of vaping and e-cigarettes have definitely risen, and we definitely did not want to be reactive, proactive. So this was early in the year that we implemented this, and we did a district-wide vaping program to try to stop it before it really got out of hand. So it is a toolkit that's a resource for the coordinator of those programs. So at the junior highs, those are reviewing and including those resources for our educating our students on the dangers in e-cigarettes. Another area that you notice the flyer up here, other than the Aspire modules, you'll notice at the top the free vaccines at your teens, GCCI's high schools. Part of the Be Well Baytown initiative is us partnering with All for Them, and that's through University of Texas. And we have been able to host pre-consented vaccine clinics. One was hosted at Gentry in November, mailed postcards to all our junior high students, and then as you can see on the flyer here, we have worked with our high schools to offer vaccines, ongoing all the way through April. And if you have questions about those, you can reach out to Ms. Pena, Patricia Pena, or Priscilla Garza. Both of them work here for the district. Also, since our last SHAC meeting, the new parent chair for the Family Engagement Health Services Subcommittee was announced. It's Ms. Laura Rupp. She's not in attendance here tonight, but she was oriented in her role. She's excited about the possibilities involving student voice, because that was an area that we really wanted to try to grow in our second year with the SHAC. And then we also worked and talked to her about how we can provide more health services out to the district as well. Her updates from Ms. Rupp, she did call Houston Methodist. There was some information that she wanted to share. They don't have flyers, but she does suggest going to Houston Methodist to their website, because they offer the COVID vaccine clinics. Now notice that's different than these vaccines here. This is for school immunizations. But information on websites are very helpful. It answers a lot of the questions that many have been asking. So she just wanted to point out that that was a resource that the community could use. Other than that, I'm going to hand it over to Ms. Carrillo for family and community involvement.
Ruth Carrillo. We wanted to share that the subcommittee, we met on December 13th to take donations from the Angel Tree. Thank you so much. And also to discuss items for the committee, including communications. Members discuss ways to collaborate with community partners. Also, we would like to take Ms. Richard. I hope, is that how we say that? Amanda? Ms. Richard. Rickard. Ms. Rickard. For sharing the community challenge information with the Baytown Sun. Thank you so much. Also, we are proud to celebrate Asheville Smith and Bowie Elementary were successful hosting our Walk to School events in partnership with Safe Routes to School Baytown at the campuses this past November. And in the future, we will be having Lamar Elementary. Will be hosting their Walk to School event in March. And also Travis will be hosting their Walk to School, their Bike to School event in the spring. So that's going to be super exciting. An email will be shared with the SHAC members for those wishing to volunteer at these events. And those are very early in the morning, and we need everybody. If you're able to come out, we would love to have you there. They're super fun. We encourage kinder through 8th grade campuses to share upcoming dates for Catch Family Nights or other community wellness related events with us by emailing shac@gccisd.net. Also, we did want to share that we do have community tracks. That means on our campuses, various campuses, we have the track at some of our schools that are available for the community. At this time, I know of 3, but I know that we have more campuses. So we're going to work on getting that list together so that as a SHAC committee, we can encourage our community to come out and use those tracks. For the time being, I know for sure Lamar, Carver, and Harlem have their tracks available for the community to come out and use them. And it's from 4:30 to 7 in the evening. And of course, just adults and no bikes. And I think that's the only kind of restriction that they have on there. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Carrillo.
I'm Teresa Caldwell. I'm the coordinator for behavior and mental health. And so some of the updates that I wanted to share with you, I think we had shared before about our Wellness on the Go activities that we are, going around the district and providing some services for some of our students on campuses who have experienced trauma or grief. And of course, we know that there's a lot that's happening in our community right now. And one of the things that we are noticing is that whenever we show up at a particular campus, the students that have been chosen to come out, typically it's like one grade level or it is a combination of students. Maybe if there was a direct tie to maybe one grade level that had maybe like a death of a classmate or something like that, we typically will cater to them, to that group. What you're seeing now on the screen is just some pictures of our recent Wellness on the Go. We had one at Ross S. Sterling on November the 17th, and then we had another December 15th at Bowie Elementary. Part of the Wellness on the Go is giving them an opportunity to use our Character Strong curriculum and to be able to teach them social skills on how to deal with different things that could be bothering them. And what we're learning is that the students, as well as the staff, are just so excited about having someone there to talk to them. This is a collaborative effort with other departments within the district. Amanda comes out and she works with our students. We have our fine arts department. Someone comes out. Actually, the director came out. Our athletic department, our nutrition department. We have our employee wellness department. We all come and we are there to provide not only services for the students, but as you can see on the picture, that we have services for the staff. We had this past meeting that we had at Bowie, we had a listening party. And so it was neat. We had not experienced that, but as we're growing, we are incorporating other things. Another thing that we have just recently completed was getting our staff trained for Goose Creek to become a grief-sensitive district, not just one campus, but the entire district. So we've trained our principals, our APs, our counselors, our student wellness interventionists, our lots of different people that work in the administrative side. So we've had to do the training with them initially, and then we will train our teachers, because what we want the teachers to be able to do is that when a student is experiencing any type of trauma or grief, that they will have the teachers who are there with the students pretty much for the most part of the day, for them to be able to have conversations with those students and be able to offer support to them. So those are some things that are happening in our student wellness department.
Ms. Kostick?
Is it? Oh, it's a go. Hi, I'm Kim Kostick, and I really hate putting my back to people.
You can come up wherever you feel comfortable.
It's rude. Okay. So I'm Kim Kostick, and I am the parent co-chair for the Mental Health Services Employee Health and Wellness Subcommittee. And we met December 7th and virtually, and we went over the survey that was given to our employees about health and wellness, and it was interesting. Our staff was very vocal and a little upset on some stuff, and we took it really to heart. So the teachers were more vocal than anybody else, but we believe that was the lack of response that we had from auxiliary staff was the lack of access to their email. So they just really don't check it as often, nor would they. And, our grounds people, it was wonderful. I don't remember the gentleman's name yes, it was you that really spoke up for our grounds people, saying, hey, they can't. And so we had spoke about giving them an opportunity to take iPads out there and to allow them to be able to speak up. But, it was really eye-opening for them to say that one of the biggest things was time was a concern to them. And so you have to think, is it time management? And do we need better time management skills that are given to our teachers and to our staff? And a lot of pressure, but they expressed that even taking the survey itself was difficult, and they felt a little guilty, and even one, I believe as a teacher, had even expressed that when we talked about, or asked about, did you talk about health and wellness with other teachers? They say, no, I don't have time to do that, and we'd probably get in trouble if we did. I mean, it was really eye opening because we don't want them to feel that way at all. And, they shared. So, something else that they had expressed was they were not aware of the workout facility that Goose Creek put a pretty penny into building. And, we didn't think that was very fair. And I mean, some that were aware of it thought that it was very inconvenient, the location. They still didn't have access to what it is that they want. But if you do not know, Goose Creek has a facility where you can go work out in a gym. And then we also offer discounts to other gym memberships and what have you. But they weren't aware. And so we weren't sure if it was we didn't feel like it was a lack of information being presented, but it may be too much information that's kind of coming at them a lot. And so they miss it. And so we talked about being able to kind of get that message out and like to really hone down how we present information to our teachers and our staff to make sure that they truly are receiving it. Let's see. The survey had 55% of employees responding that they would do more physical activity if they had a place to do it. And it's like, well, we do have a place to do it, so we need to kind of fix that, right? To make it more convenient. And then Amanda and I talked about, just kind of as Stephanie Myers' part, like where we go from here. And, that helping them also connect that mental health is a part of wellness. And they did express a lot of stress and frustration. I mean, we already know that with COVID and the learning curves and navigating new systems and trying to be a little bit more compassionate to it. And Goose Creek, according to the survey, really dropped the ball, even though we were trying to do our best, and we really missed the mark. At least to them and their perspectives and how we can try to strengthen that and make it even better to the staff. So especially the teachers that we got the most response from, which it kind of made sense in the way that where the survey went and how it went. That's where we got it. Let's see. I think that's pretty much the big high points. And helping them build skills, another thing with resilience and what we can do to really strengthen their skills to navigate and really focus maybe on that time management component, because if we can strengthen time management, then that will help alleviate so many other aspects. So let's see, it's but whether it be time management or just somebody to listen to them or provide additional resources. So we're going to really try to strengthen that up and see what we can do better. It's, and we welcome your input. We kind of ran way over because the survey was just so in detail. And then, not only was it in detail, but we just kept digging in deeper and asking more questions. And it was a great meeting, but we didn't schedule another one. So I would like to be able to do that. And even though, preferable in person, but would be willing to do it virtually. But just in person, especially with everything that we're doing, I think it is a little bit more productive. So thank you.
And to add, Ms. Myers did say to share that the district does appreciate the input from the committee members. She agrees that it is very evident from the information that the employees are providing that they're reaching out and they need something, whether it be the time management, as she said, or just someone to listen to them or provide additional resources. And so now at the district level, how can we put that together and be able to assist them with what they need? And the goal for the district is to meet those health and wellness needs of the staff and communicate the resources in the best possible manner. And so the committee was able to provide some ideas, whether it be putting it on a QR code or however to share that information in a most efficient way. So thank you all for sharing your updates. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
We have created and placed on the campuses our comm spaces for our employees. And we want to say congratulations to Bowie Elementary because they were the last campus to open up or to reveal their comm space. And of course, we know that there is a lot of stress. There's a lot of things that's going on with our teachers right now. So several of our campuses, most of our secondary campuses have a comm space, and that's where they can go in. The teachers can go in for about 15 minutes at a time, and they can go into this room that has a massage chair. It has Keurig. It has, the lightings. It has low lighting. It has, what else do y'all have in your space, Diane? Mm-hmm. Yes, there's motivational quotes in the spaces. They're just really, really nice spaces. Hopefully, for our next meeting, we can have pictures of those. But we are definitely listening to the teachers, to the staff, and so we are trying to make sure that at least if they have a 15 minutes where they can just go and just kind of recoup, get themselves together, and then come out and to go back into their classrooms. So if you're a teacher in the district. If you're on a secondary campus, if you are not aware of the comm spaces, go look for them. They're there.
Thank you, Ms. Caldwell. So Amanda will send out an email for our upcoming community events and partner resources, but there are a few items of information that she would like to pass tonight.
So before, I think we had just have one more quick presentation, and this one is fun. So we currently have the It's Time Texas Community Challenge happening across the state. It is an 8-week challenge, community involvement. It's an individual, so new year, new you. You can earn points for yourself for your campus if you want it to be designated to a campus. It can go to the city of Baytown or your city, wherever you want to designate it to, and then overall the state. So it's just creating healthier Texas by working together. So this 8-week health competition, I actually have a video that I'll share out with you all just to save time. I appreciate Ms. Maggie Amaku from Community Program. She's the Community Programs Manager at It's Time Texas. She created a video especially for our SHAC meeting that I'll share out with you to watch about this community-wide event. But essentially what this is for us to have the opportunity to come together as a community to think about our health. And it really does make you think about, okay, self-care. You can do meditation and you can report those healthy activities. You can meet up at the park and you get certain points reported for meeting at the park. It can be, solo activities, or you and your dog. You do a dog walk, you get points for doing a dog walk. They actually have that on the app. And so essentially for this 8-week health competition, you register online. And then at the It's Time Texas, it's register.ittcommunitychallenge.com. Once you're registered, you can download an app. And I know many people don't like downloading apps onto their phone, but that's the only way to report your activities and earn points. Once the challenge is over, you can take the app off. But it runs through February the 27th. And once you've downloaded the app, you can easily participate from your mobile device. Reporting activities, you can designate activities, you can invite friends. We are using this at our office area where we meet up at a certain time and take a break. We take a 15-minute little walk and we get points just for that activity. It can even be for drinking water. So many of you are here drinking water today. You could report that activity and earn points as well. One of the best ways to earn points is to host a registration event. So registration events need to be 15 or more people, and it can be in any way. It can be your family members. It can be you go to a local park and host that as a registration event. You can do the same thing on the app where you invite friends to a location and set that up. And once you're there, you just share about the 8-week challenge. And it really does make you mindful of your daily activities. So and daily reporting. And you can report up to 10 activities each day for this community challenge. even more than the competition, it's really just about encouraging each other to lead healthier lives. And so Goose Creek has participated in this for several years. I'm not sure if I have another. For several years, and we actually talked with the school board. We have the support of the school board, and many of you last year, principals, teachers, community members, did sign a pledge showing your support. And so tonight, we're asking you as SHAC members to also pledge your support. So on your handouts in the back, you should have received a school leader pledge. And because you are a school leader as the SHAC, you have a special pledge. You can also sign a community pledge. There are several different pledges that you can use. But what this is declaring your support by signing the pledge. You can upload the photo afterwards onto your app and earn points for yourself for that. Encouraging school leaders that you all see in your district to join the challenge. They can sign and upload their own pledges. And then we're encouraging to actively participate in the challenge as well. Currently, Goose Creek is in third place with over 300,000 points. We are competing against other districts around the state of Texas. And so being in third place is pretty good compared to all our mid-sized categories. And we have helped the city of Baytown bump up to second place. And then just like we shared earlier, Ms. Rickard has shared it with the community out to the Baytown Sun. So any word that you can get out. I know I've spoken with a few other members here tonight. Mr. Chapa had a registration event over the weekend. Pretty easy. You just host an event like this. You take a picture, you upload it you send an email to It's Time Texas, and that you receive 5,000 points just for having a registration event and trying to spread the word. But his points are our points, and our points are the state of Texas's points. And we are doing a district sub-challenge as well for our employees, because with our employees also we're trying to find activities that they can think about for their own health. And so right now we have a competition between our elementary, middle, and high schools. So the elementary that earns the most points, the middle school that earns the most points, and the high school that earns the most points will receive a trophy. We're calling it the Salad Bowl Champion, because of course healthy eating, so you're eating, you can record those. They're earning a Salad Bowl trophy for having the most points, and we did talk to principals about that today. And just encouraging each other to, think about your health, think about self-care, think about working together to encourage one another to be healthy. And we will honor those campuses at the community-wide event. But even more than that, and this is added, we haven't really shared this, on the app you can also high-five one another. So if you see other community members, our employees that have signed up for this district subcommittee, if you're an encourager, even if your campus isn't one that wins, if you're there and you're encouraging and you're motivating others, there will also be some added prizes from the district, but then also from the challenge itself, from HEB sponsored activities. And they usually offer like gift cards or, wellness type gifts that they pass out through the challenge. So I'm just encouraging all of you to support this. If you do support at this time, I would like you to sign, because I'm going to sign too as a SHAC member. And once you have signed, I want you to stand up and turn it this way, because I'd like to take a group photo of all of you that would, well, actually, let's take a picture over here. So once you've signed it, let's take a quick photo over here before we end our meeting. So if you don't mind signing the pledge, if you support the It's Time Texas Community Challenge. And please reach out if you have questions. All right, right up here. For the upcoming events and partner resources, I know our slides have gone away. Dr. Rosemary Kaufman from Lee College did want to share that Lee College is having a health fair March 29th. If you want to jot that down, March 29th. If anyone is interested in being a vendor or a booth or helping out with the fair, just reach out, or I'll send that information in a follow-up email. But just know that Lee College is offering a community-wide health fair on March 29th from 1 to 4 p.m. And as of right now, we are also still scheduling Be Well Baytown Day, which will be March 19th from 9 to noon. And I'll send more information about that. But those are some upcoming dates that we definitely wanted to share with you. So March 19th, Be Well Baytown Day. And that will be a Goose Creek hosted, so you can contact me or SHAC. And then Lee College Health Fair, March 29th. Okay, yeah, it's back up. And I'll share that slide. I'll share all the slides with you all so you can have those dates and information.
All right, so thank you all for attending the meeting today. Before we go, we ask that if you have any questions or concerns, to please feel free to email us at shac@gccisd.net. And I will turn it over to Mrs. Kennington once again to spin the SHAC wheel for some special prizes.
All right, so Ms. Greenwood, do you want to do the honors and pass out our 3 gifts that we have here? So this is special because we have 3 signed autograph books from the CEO, Mr. Van Dusen. Say his name for me. Right. Van Dusen. I always feel like I've known Mr. Van Dusen for a very long time with the Catch program, just as a PE teacher myself, and so every time I get kind of giddy, like, oh, he's famous. These are signed autograph copies of When Are We Going to Teach Health? So we have 3 of these to pass out today. And our first winner, you must be present to win. Right? Yes. Ms. Whitley, she was here. Is she here? Oh, she must have left early. She just left. Must be present. I know. She's one of our champions, too. Okay. It'll take a minute. Miss Laverne. Mm-hmm. We're going to keep rolling. Miss Bankston, right here. Yay, Miss Bankston. The second one. Miss Slack. Miss Slack is our next winner. Yay, Miss Slack. Thank you for coming. And our third catch with winner. Miss Pena's not here. Kegler? No. I mean, we're doing great. Miss Toledo. Mr. Bonfos. I'll be sure to take snacks with you. Mr. Bailey, our physical educator. Thank you, Ms. Green, for passing those out. And to help you on your health journey for It's Time Texas Community Challenge, we have this little magic bullet up here. Great for making smoothies. Ms. Gallagher. They're like, please be me, please be me. Ms. Pena, tell her. That was the case. Oh, Ms. Caustic. Ms. Caustic, yay.
All right, so it is now 6:20 p.m. We will now adjourn the meeting. Thank y'all.
Thank y'all for staying over. If you want to be in the physical activity subcommittee or information, see Mr. Bailey so we can kind of schedule it.